Great. So, have you ever had any experience with corporal punishment, or do you have any stories related to corporal punishment from living in Mississippi?
Yes, I do. When I was in the 5th grade, I was attending South Park. I had a teacher who tried to spank me, and it didn't go so well.
What happened?
She went to reach back. She reached back. I moved, and she hit the building, and she broke her arm, and she tried to sue my mom for her getting hurt.
Are you serious? So she tried to take a wooden board and strike your body with it.
Yes.
To punish you for something that a child probably does, because children do things.
In class.
You were acting up in class, which is a normal thing that children do, and they have to be trained. That's why we train children, and we could do it without any violence. And she went to hit you, and she broke her wrist.
Yes.
And then she tried to sue you, but you wouldn't have been able to sue if she would have broken something or caused some hematoma or bruises on your body. Would you have been able to sue her for that?
No.
No, but she wanted to sue your mom. Now, did that go well with your mom? Did your mom get sued?
My mom didn't. No.
So,
she did not. She told them that she did not give them permission to spank me, and for them not to touch me again.
Well, what was she doing trying to hit you if she didn't even have permission? She was just outside of the whole law.
It was a thing that they do in school.
Just ignore your mom's note that your mom says don't hit you. She tried to anyway, and then she broke her wrist.
Yes.
Well, sounds like, sometimes that happens, huh, when you're doing what you're not supposed to be doing, huh?
Yes.
So did she come to school with a cast on her wrist?
Yes, she did.
And so how long did she have that on? About a month or so?
Yes.
And you got to see that, and you didn't end up with a bruised body, a violated body.
No.
Very good. Well, congratulations on getting out of that. I'm sorry your teacher got hurt, but maybe that taught her to stop hitting kids. I hope it did.
I hope it did too.
Well, I'm glad you protected yourself. Right on.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Have a good evening now.
You too.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Paula Flowe, and I want to thank you for joining me here on American Safe Pass. And today I want to address some questions that are asked frequently throughout this campaign. It seems that we have a top 10 set of questions that people want to know, and I'm going to do my best to address all of them right now. One of the most frequently asked questions is, why is it taking so long to have American educators stop hitting school children? And there are a number of answers to that particular question. One, the most primary response is that the children who are receiving corporal punishment most frequently are black and brown children, poor white children, children having autism. The populations that are being hit most frequently are those who are unable to articulate for themselves, unable to afford lawyers, and who have been through this sort of treatment themselves as they were growing up. Rural America is where most of this is going on, in primarily the former slave states. And if you go to our website, thehittingstopshere.com, and scroll down a bit on our homepage, you'll see two maps, and you'll find that the top 10 paddling states are the same virtually as the top 10 lynching states. And we recently did a survey, and we have found that in modern day America, the top 10 states that administer capital punishment are also the same states. So some of them, just to name, are Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Arkansas, North Carolina. These are the states where our American school children are being beaten more frequently than the others, such as Idaho, which still allows it, Wyoming, which still allows it, Colorado, Arizona, Kansas. These are states still beating children. However, their numbers are not as high. And so I hope that answers that question in part. Another reason why it is taking so long is because our politicians are negligent, irresponsible, or lacking integrity, and there is a lot of money made behind beating American school children. For example, we have parents who contact us and their children are now taking medication just to be able to go to school. Having had these traumatic experiences where they've been taken into offices where there's only one person, or sometimes there are two people, sometimes they're even held down. Our American school children are at times held down, and they are unable to get over the trauma of the fear that they experience, and they end up taking medication. So our American pharmaceutical industry is actually making a killing on our American school children being beaten. Many of them have nightmares and so forth. Another industry making money is the prison industry. When you abuse children frequently, they drop out of school, they end up getting in trouble, trying to make money or trying to gain possessions to sell, to make money, and they end up in prison where they are paid 17 cents an hour for their labor. So I think that if we think in terms of what took place in New York City on Wall Street, the police brutality, hitting innocent people who are walking with signs saying, "We need help." And the police are bigger and stronger. They had the pepper spray, they had the batons, they have the guns, and they used the domination and fear and intimidation tactics on American adults in New York. Well, same thing in schools. You have your principal, you have your teachers, you have your board members, and they put fear and intimidation in parents and in students, and this is the way of controlling them, and ultimately there is a payoff in a number of different places. Question number 2. I understand that Representative McCarthy has submitted a bill to Congress. How will that make a difference? Yes, you are right. That was September 22nd, 2011. Very excited about that. The bill is for banning school corporal punishment across the nation, throughout our U.S. territories, and we are now waiting for a hearing date, and between the hearing date and its expiration date, we will be soliciting support from our viewers out here in Hawaii and across the nation to contact your House of Representatives as well as your senators and ask them to support the bill. Another question that I am asked frequently: what can concerned citizens do? Well, we invite you to visit our website. The heading stops here, and you will see near the top a link entitled Message Board. And if you click on that, we post there pretty regularly what is new, what you can do to help, and we have a specific message entitled What American School Children Need Responsible, Caring Adults to Know. That is a long title, but we're trying to let you know these are the things you can do. And there's a list of articles that you can read that really give you the full picture, that can help your conviction about this horrid practice going on in our schools, physical assault and battery on our school children. And you'll learn, okay, I can do this, I can join conference calls, I can send this letter here written perfectly out to my senator or to my representative of my state. Another question we get are, what are other websites that I can visit to learn more? Well, one that we urge you to go to is unlimitedjustice.com. That one is authored by Mark Echo, and he is a concerned citizen, and he has created a website for people to be able to contact their legislators and tell them we want this to stop. And it also allows you to start your own campaign, and you can just go viral with getting the word out to your friends, your family, and to legislators. He has it all going on there. So please visit unlimitedjustice.com. Also, if you go to positivediscipline.com, you will learn from Dr. Jane Nelson and all of the books that she has available, as well as workshops that you can call and see if they will bring them to your community. You'll learn all sorts of ways to train children without any hitting. They are all nonviolent forms of discipline. They are effective, they are respectful, they are kind, and they're being used in our top 100 schools where hitting is prohibited. And those schools are excelling as a result of using the types of models of discipline that you will find on positivediscipline.com. And to learn a lot more about what's going on and check out the newsroom and statistics and these sorts of things, you can also go to nospank.net. And that is authored by Mr. Jordan Ryak, who is the author of the bill that had corporal punishment banned in the state of California. So that's a very, very wonderful source of information. I believe that Mr. Ryak's website is more than 20 years old. So you would never get through his website in a lifetime. He has that much information, pictures, videos, articles, you name it, it's on nospank.net. I'm going to close out with our last question of the day, which is, are school beatings more than a few strikes on the buttocks? And I would have to say absolutely. I'm going to close out with this story about an 18-year-old young lady, high school senior, in San Antonio, Texas. And this will give you a picture of just how bad it can get. And it starts out, he told her to bend over a chair with her buttocks raised. The petite, attractive 18-year-old woman refused. The unusually large, strong young man then physically forced her to assume the position and summoned 2 assistants to hold her down as she struggled to resist. He swung Old Thunder mightily, striking her buttocks, leg, and hip with the 4-foot-long piece of wood. She momentarily broke her hand free and raised it to shield her body from the blows, and he struck her hand with Old Thunder, causing her to cry out that he had broken her hand. His helpers then pulled her feet up, raising her buttocks off the floor, and he continued to beat her. She was crying the whole time, humiliated and in a great deal of pain. When it was over, her buttocks were bleeding, her hand was too swollen and painful to use, and her face was stained with tears. He then ordered Jessica Smith to return to her classroom and resume her studies. This sounds like a nightmare, not a scene from a Texas public high school principal's office. One would expect a federal judge to consider diligently Jessica's claims that her brutal beating violated the Constitution. After all, the judiciary is the self-appointed guardian of constitutional guarantees, a role that carries great responsibility to protect especially vulnerable citizens from overreaching by other branches. But the judge yawned and dismissed the case. And on June 23, 2008, the United States Supreme Court once again looked the other way. This article addresses federal courts' failure to recognize that what happened to Jessica is repugnant to the constitutional guarantees of liberty and equal protection of the laws prohibiting assault and battery. I want to thank you for joining me. Some of you may be saying, what on earth did she do to deserve such a beating? My answer to that, she was late to class. Thank you again for joining me here on American Safe Pass. Safe Pass stands for Student Alliance for Education in Peaceful American Schools. Please support our work. Visit the websites that we pointed out. Go to our website message board at thehittingstopshere.com. Learn how you can help our American schools be safe places for all American school children. Thank you once again. Have a good day.
I'm going to speak right now just to the one issue about the racial disparity of corporal punishment in the schools, because this is something that simply cannot be denied. And first I want to explain how the Department of Education keeps these statistics, because it's critical to understand how it is that we arrive at these statistics. First of all, the Department of Education says that probably the statistics are underrepresentative of the number of beatings taking place in the schools. So you can bank on the fact that whatever we do have is, if anything, it underreports how many beatings are taking place. But this is the key to me. First, when a child is beaten in school, they are reported for that school year one time. They are not reported again, no matter how many times they are hit during that academic year. So if a particular child is hit one time or 100 times, it's reported as one incident with the Department of Education. Okay, now keep that in mind when we talk about who's getting hit in schools, because there's been a lot of research on who are the kids, who's being hit. Well, the clearest indication is kids who are poor are getting hit. Kids in the poor rural school districts are the ones getting hit, not so much in the urban districts. But we know for a fact that black children are hit disproportionately. One study showed that black boys are 16 times more likely to be hit in schools than white girls. Boys are hit more than girls, and black children are hit more than white children. When you start crunching these statistics, what you have is situations in which particular black boys are hit so frequently that they drop out of school. And then what happens to them? Where are they going to go? What would you do? What bothers me the most, I think, about these statistics is that the kids who are being hit in school are the kids who are already from troubled homes. These are the kids our government should be taking care of. These are the kids our government should show concern for, our government should nurture, our government should help, and they're not doing that.
Give me my hand.
Well, I'm a student of Cityview, America, in Wichita Falls, and corporal, I've been getting swats from the corporal punishment, and I saw God went home with some whelps and some bruises, and they had hurt and been swatted probably about 60, 70 times for petty reasons, or small reasons, and we're trying to put an end to it. So hopefully we don't have to deal with it no more.
Tyler's mother.
I mean, it makes them angry, and it makes them see that, you know, oh, okay, well, if I'm angry at somebody, I can go out and do the same thing. And that's not how I raise my kid. Men whipping 17-year-old fully developed women, pregnant girls,